Rampur Indian Single Malt Whiskey Vintage Select Casks. Is this a whiskey worth checking out? Watch the Whiskey Whistle. Hello my whiskey curious friends, welcome to Whiskey Whistle, your wise choice in independent whiskey and spirits reviews, bringing you Whiskey Review 281, a very unique one. This is a new whiskey to Manitoba, probably to Canada and to many parts of the world, and this is called Rampur. It's an Indian single malt whiskey. Yes, that's right, it's from India. Now, there's quite a lot of whiskey being made and being sold in India, but actually there's only basically three. This is the third of three single malt whiskey producing distilleries. Anyway, let's get it open. Actually, for the first time, there'll be an unboxing and then we'll check it out together, shall we? Let's get it done. Let's get it open. Okay, now check this out. This is really wild. Wait till you see this. Pretty cool stuff. Now they've taken a page out of distilleries such as, well, Crown Royal and Royal Salute, but look at this decadence. Beautiful, look at that. It's in a beautiful silk-like, silk or linen, silk and linen type of a cloth bag there, and a beautiful silk tassel in a golden hue. It's beautiful. Really nice presentation, and really does remind me a lot of some of the packaging used for some of the recent Crown Royals, like the Northern Harvest Rye, for example. Anyway, so ultra decadence, and when you think about Asia and India, and these countries are gift-giving countries, and this tells me right away this is made to give. This is made for a gift. Anyway, beautiful whiskey, beautiful looking bottle. Very much the same type of bottle shape that you find in, well, like Bruichladdich and quite a few others. What should I do with that? Well, I think I'll just have to tuck that away. Maybe I'll do it up close there for you. So quite nice. Nice little closure. Definitely something that you could, for sure, keep your marbles in or your chess pieces in if you want. And nice embroidery there with its distillery logo. Interestingly, established 1949. Now that's pretty wild. So that distillery has been producing spirits since then. Single malt whiskey probably came much later than that, as seems to be the case in many of the, well, many distilleries outside of Scotland. Not a lot of single malt being made elsewhere. Okay, and yeah, that one just begs to be pulled off all the way. Anyway, so just get it right off, and beautiful color, nice looking label. This one's 43% ABV, and it is unchill filtered as stated on the bottle and also on the packaging. In fact, in very big letters. Can you see that? Can you see that at the front of the label there? Non-chill filtered, right in the front. And have not had Paul John yet, but Amrut, I have one review of Amrut. There'll be another one coming soon. It's up there in the corner there if you see that, the Fusion. Oh, boy, the first thing that comes to mind is lychee. I'll just put that out there, lychee. Whoops, shoot. Don't like dropping my corks. Okay, nothing on there. All right, so there it is. Definitely attractive packaging. Now let's find out if what's inside the bottle is as attractive. First of all, we'll check out the color together. And by the way, the casking, I don't know very much about that. Not a lot of details to be had. So you can leave that in a comment for you if you wish. But anyway, let's check the color out together. Very much a medium amber hue. And being in India and the type of heat they get there, this may in fact be only, let's say, 4-6 years old, maybe even as few as 3, because the temperature helps the aging in one sense, and they also have a very, very huge angel's share. So when you make whiskey in climates like that, you lose as much as 20%, maybe even more, of the content of the cask to the angels. That's what we call the evaporation of the spirit and the water in the barrel due to climate, due to the fact that the wood is a living, breathing type of a container, we'll call it, right? Okay, anyway, how about the legs? Let's look at the legs of Rampur. And if you're looking at the label, you may want to say Rampur, but according to my research, it's Rampur. So interesting name, and that's the name of a city. In fact, the city of Rampur, which is in the district or province called Uttar Pradesh. Just so you know where it is, in case you want to go check that out there. Okay, the legs. Well, again, quite nice slow legs here. Definitely worth looking at and attractive in the sense of legs. And interestingly, the secondary drizzle, the secondary dripping of legs here is quite slow. All right, onto the nose. Cheers, everybody. It's floral and tropical. Lychee. Jasmine. There's a hint of lime, like a sweet lime. Maybe orange blossoms. Almost a chrysanthemum type of chrysanthemum tea type of a scent. Is that the word I'm looking for? Chrysanthemum? What's that? What's that herbal tea that's made with flowers? But interestingly, that lychee is really powerful for me here. Perhaps a hint of something like guava. Passion fruit, but not quite as sour. And a very mild vanilla. All right, well, time to get into the palate. My mouth is watering. I'm really excited to try this. Cheers, everybody. It's light, it's crisp. Lychee and floral and sweet. So if you can imagine a dessert that has a floral component along with the fruit, this may be very similar in that sense. Light, fruity, sweet, hint of floral. More than mature enough. The palate here is telling me, in terms of the typical types of ages that I'm used to, that this is 12 to 14 years old in age. Maybe even as much as 15. My third sip now, I'm getting a hint of astringency, slight bit of dryness. And the finish, this lychee is carrying through along with the floral, that jasmine floral scent, floral flavor. I mentioned the locum, rose locum in the last review. That was the Turkish delight. That's called locum, by the way. Get with the times. Don't call it Turkish delight anymore. Call it locum. Anyway, so that that rose locum, I'm getting again something like that here, but especially in the finish. Delightful whiskey, very different to Amrut, and I wonder if geography plays a part there, but a much lighter feel, not quite as rich, lighter, and more of these white, juicy types of fruit flavors like lychee. And a hint more floral. In fact, I don't think I really noticed much floral at all in Amrut. Delicious. All right, time to add a bit of water. Now I added a good 1 milliliter in there, maybe one and a half at the most. Let that mix about. Yep, that rose locum I'm still tasting in my mouth here. That's really, really appealing to me. Now I noticed on malt-review.com they found it a detriment that that there was, well, the writer found it a detriment that there was such a huge amount of these tropical flavors, which I'm finding here as lychee. But you know, like, this is a Indian single malt. It's from a tropical area. It has a totally different climate. It has a totally different sort of flora in the air, different yeasts, different pollens, and all of these things would have an impact. Even the air should smell different from the trees and the types of fruit that's grown, and all of that plays a part. So the terroir will definitely have an effect. Now, not to say that there's anything wrong with thinking that's a negative. If you don't like tropical fruit flavors, floral flavors in your whiskey, then you won't like this very much. But me being me, I'm the type of person who I like black licorice. I like that rose locum that I mentioned very much. So much that my family would give it to me as gifts for Christmas when I was younger. I like dark chocolate. I like, cucumber. I like all sorts of unusual flavor. I mean, some people really dislike cucumber. That's why I mentioned that. I've even enjoyed durian, which a lot of people just can't handle. Anyway, so going to Korea and the types of foods that I tried there are so many who just could not handle the spice or the fermented vegetables that they eat there. So for me, this is a very delicious flavor, and it's so unique in a way that is appealing to me, that makes me very happy, first of all, that I have this. And I'm definitely planning on sharing that with some locals here in Winnipeg. And, you know, honestly, I think I mentioned that before, but if you're interested in finding out what some whiskeys are like, and I have them, we can come to some arrangement. Just send me an email, markswhiskywhistle@gmail.com, or a DM on Twitter or Instagram would be fine. Okay, let's check out the nose with water added with my familiar challenge coin. Here we go. Now, with water added here again, I'm getting more wood smoke coming through here. And I'd be really curious to know what sort of oak they're using. I'm not getting as much of the florals. I'm also not getting a whole lot of that lychee. What I am getting, however, is an increased vanilla, increased spices, unmistakable cardamom here. Oh, absolutely. It makes me want to go upstairs right now and get the cardamom just to compare, but it's very, very similar. Maybe that lime is still there. Anyway, on to the palate now with water. Cheers, everybody. Slightly enhanced sweetness. Again, the tropical is diminished in a sense on the palate, but still very much there on the finish. The dryness also a little bit diminished with water added, which may be good for some people who prefer less dry whiskey. Now, I mentioned India being a huge producer of whiskey. You may not know, however, that Indian whiskey, whatever you want to think of it, and there are people who say, oh, they put X and Y in it, so it's not really whiskey. But anyway, we'll just leave that out of the argument. But the biggest whiskey producers, in fact, are Indian. In fact, number 1, 2, 3. Number 4 is also Indian. However, it is blended Scotch whiskey made for the Indian market. Anyway, enormous, vibrant market there. And I'm guessing that there's going to be even more single malts coming out of India very soon. And I welcome them. And I really hope that they, try to make sure they get into markets like Canada quickly to establish themselves. I don't know why we don't have Paul John here in Canada, not available in Korea. I can respect that they may want to hit certain markets first, like the biggest buyers, which would be, Scotland, England, France, Japan, Taiwan, USA, right? But you know, get it out there. Put even just a, you know, like a pop-up store in markets like Toronto or Vancouver or even Winnipeg. That might be good for just developing your brand awareness. Anyway, all right, one more taste here. Onto the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score. This is such a pretty whiskey. It is very, very pretty. The presentation is pretty. The packaging is pretty. And the whiskey also is very pretty. Palate pleasing. I can see this being a very good, call that a digestif, something you may want to have after dinner. Or even an aperitif if you're going to be having some heavy meat dishes. This could be a very nice before dinner drink to try, and would also make some very interesting different types of cocktails in place of Scotch whiskey. All right. Anyway. On to the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Rampur, the vintage select casks. Can you hear Rocky? He's scratching his bed away. All right, folks, the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Rampur vintage select casks. That is going to be 88 out of 100. Yes, you heard right. 88 out of 100 is the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Rampur, the Indian single malt whiskey. All right, now if you like that review, yeah, I want you to subscribe. Just get right over there, click that little emblem of mine there, and hit the bell so you're notified of all the whiskey whistles coming up. There'll be lots coming up here leading up to Christmas and beyond. And why not get involved a little bit more? Enrich yourself a little bit deeper with WhiskyWhistle via Patreon, patreon.com/WhiskyWhistle. Become a patron. There's 3 different levels of patronage. Choose the one that fits you, and you'll get all types of benefits, including, well, premier access to the WhiskyWhistle whiskey reviews, and also some unique videos that I've made only for patrons to check out, including stuff about my own WhiskyWhistle whiskey collection. Not my archives. That's out there. I talk about that openly, but this is something that I don't share with many people, but I will share with my patrons. Okay. All right. Well, hope you liked that one. Stay tuned for what's to come. Take care, everybody, and keep it malty. Thanks for watching WhiskyWhistle. Be sure to subscribe, and don't forget to give this video a like and leave a comment down below. Be sure to stay tuned next time to join me, the host of the show, Mark, as I explore more whiskeys with you. Take care now, and we'll see you next time.